the great Matty Johns. Hey, Matty.
Hey, Joel, F-Dog, what's going on, boys?
Yeah, the M switch. What's doing? Hey,
mate, I honestly, I don't know what it is. I just feel, I feel good at the moment. I absolutely hammered myself every day over the long weekend.
Yep.
Well, I mean, seriously, give it to myself. And but I've woke up. I'm just feeling good.
I ran into you Friday. I know you had a bit of a weekend away with the bride, staycation, as they say.
Yes.
Was it good? What did you get up to?
Well, because it was meant to be a romantic weekend, but running into you, Beast, the Texan and the boys, that crew, no romance and didn't see a light at Vivid. So, but boy, what a good time.
It's good sometimes just to. I love staying in hotels.
So do I.
Yep. It's even better that you don't have to get on a plane to go home. Because that's the worst bit.
Staycation every day of the week.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself in the doghouse at all, Matty?
In the doghouse, I was yesterday because I took the family down to the Collaroy, which for lunch it was good. But then when I got home, I remember Trish coming out about 7:30 and just went, "You have drunk 2 bottles of wine by yourself." And I was like, "Yep." I mean, the Bulldogs won. Great game of football.
And it's a king's birthday. It's a king's birthday.
Of course. It's what Charles would have wanted.
That's right.
And the Shiraz was just pounding the tonsils.
Yeah.
And it just wouldn't relent. I just kept swallowing it.
Oh,
yeah.
Shiraz.
You know, my dad, when he said, watch Shiraz, watch Shiraz, drink Shiraz. Is that right, Brian?
Guys, he was good to watch yesterday.
Oh, he's a gun.
Matty, you were waxing lyrically. You were just frothing on Stevie Crichton yesterday, weren't you?
Love Stephen Crichton. What? You know, Fletcher, you get a really good appreciation. A lot of times, when the boys come through the show on the Sunday night, you get a real feel for teams and individuals, and Crichton just couldn't have been more impressive. His strength of personality when he came in, and as far as his defence, I've never seen a better defensive centre. I mean, I've had a lot of people say like Steve Rogers was a genius in defence. Crichton is second to nobody. Really good. He defends well in their system, but also, he allows himself that his instincts just to make the right decision. I mean, hence the reason why in big games he picks off a few times in big games, picking off intercepts, off playmakers. He's a gun. I'm just trying to think, boys, in the last 5 years, a signing that has made such a difference to a club. I suppose it's Adam Reynolds and that, of course, with the Broncos.
Cooper Cronk,
yeah, probably. Yeah. There's probably lots.
Yeah, there is.
But he's up there.
We asked him. We asked him on the show about it, and he goes, "It's just about communicating."
Yeah,
that's what he said. That's that basically separates us from animals: communicating and opposable thumbs. The only two things.
Is that right?
The only two things is communication and opposable thumbs.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what they say. They say, as a guy, I want you to have a look at something. People are always asking for tips. I want you to check out a guy called David Crichton, and he teaches a thing around the world called Big History. And he's a Balmain Tigers. He was a Balmain Tigers supporter, still supports the Tigers. He talks about the evolution of the Earth. The guy is Jon Favreau, who does the Avengers movies.
Yes, yeah.
He talks to him with ideas about the Avengers movies and whatnot. And he talks, mate. He said the things that separated us from the chimps and the apes is just simply the ability to communicate.
Correct.
We collate ideas.
That's right.
So which side's he communicating?
He's got to be marking the hammer.
The hammer.
Like the hammer, we just can't. We can't let hammer. Like we've got to get into him, and I think Stevie Crichton's the man.
Yep, he's so good. I've seen him a couple of times this year. Things that look very basic, but when you're out on the field, really difficult to do. And Bulldogs were playing one day, and he found himself with his winger, just 2-on-2, but with a mile of space, almost like in 30 metres, a third of the field, just 2-on-2. And usually, most 90% of defenders would just sort of steady and push off and try to manoeuvre into a corner. Crichton just went bang, just went up and dropped his opposite. It was he was really decisive. He's really, really impressive.
What about what he's done? He's 23.
Yeah, it seems
like he's carved up and scored in a World Cup final. He scored in the last 4 grand finals. He's just built for the big stage, isn't he? Like, just an unbelievable athlete.
Cameron Ciraldo said at the start of the year, he said, what we really needed was a leader. And the boys went away on their a bit of an army camp of sorts, and they were asked, all the players, to write down 1, 2, 3 who should be the leaders. And Crichton, who should be the leader? Crichton was basically,
wow.
Yeah, he wanted 100-0.
Wow,
he was
unanimous.
Yeah.
What about,
he's proven it why.
You think about, so they're obviously off a three-peat, the Panthers, and this is the main reason why I have some reservations. Twice in those 3 wins, he pulled them out of the fire. The intercept against South and that unbelievable try he scored last year.
Yeah. They've been able to withstand the loss of people like Abby Coruscant, big loss, Viliami Kikau, big loss, but this bloke, he might just, by judging what he's doing at the Dogs, you look and you say, well, this could be the most difficult to replace and get through.
Now,
highlighted too by Tommy Talau scored 4 tries.
Yeah.
You're not scoring 4 tries if he's out there, are you?
No. Good
No.
point. Matthew, the Galvin issue. He wants out. Whether or not that's true or not, it could be his manager. Yeah. But Richo is sticking firm. He's sticking like shit on a blanket, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
So, what do you make of it? What's your opinion on young Galvin?
Firstly, I do feel sorry for Galvin and his family because it appeared like you just know what player managers are like. Very, very persuasive. I feel for him because it's very hard as a young player coming in at 18 years of age. He'd have been, judging by his reputation, going through schoolboy level, he would have dominated, and most of the sides he played in would have won. And he finds himself at the moment at a team that's getting close, if not rock bottom, they're getting really, really close. And it's hard, but boys, you just don't. My advice to Lockie would be, mate, I understand what you're going through, but don't be that player. Certainly not at 18 years of age that jumps and leaves the club. Look, at this point of his career, I think Lockie, what he's got to understand, the most important thing is his learning curve. How he gets educated with his football, the things that he learns are the most important things. It's not chasing that win. He will learn more, in my opinion, during these tough times than if he'd have just strolled into a top 4 side and just basically swum in the wake of some everything that was going on around him. Understand how tough it is, really do. But he's the cavalry's coming. He's got Jerome Luai coming. They've got a lot of injuries at the moment. They get those guys back. There is, I truly believe there is light at the end of the tunnel for the Tigers. He's just got to hang in there.
You know what? You talk about sort of learning from failure. I spoke to, before Benji got the job. Now, Benji had never coached a day in his life in any grade. No. And I said to somebody, a coach, an NRL coach, I said, how's he going to go, Benji? He said, mate, the hardest thing that he's going to have to deal with is most of the best coaches have learnt from failure. He hasn't had any failure.
No.
Yeah.
So that's what he's going through right now.
I think what's really important for the Tigers, I've seen the Tigers operate different types of, they're trying to find a winning formula. And on the weekend, they went in against the Dragons. There's no doubt that Benji said, righto, let's play a bit of football at them. And they started to play a little bit of sideline to sideline, and it looked really good for the first 25 minutes. But they're a young side, and they're a side that, I think, you can understand why it lacks confidence. And you can't sustain that type of football for 80 minutes with the side he's got. They've got to, look, I think for the first 20 minutes you can play that way, but then you've got to fall back into something. A more simple formula. Like we said before about Matt Burton, how Matt Burton has rediscovered or found his best football was scaling his game right back.
Yep.
Really simple. Feed Kikau early or just take him on. Now, once he's started to build confidence from there, he's built his game little bit by bit by bit by bit, and he finds himself where he is at the moment. It's no different with the football side. I think when I look at the Tigers, right, if you're a coach and you're talking to a side like this who struggle for confidence in a young team, and all you're doing is talking about winning, we've got to win, we've got to do this, we've got to get some wins, that puts pressure on. I'd be swinging things totally the other way and say, listen, boys, let's forget about winning. Right, let's sit in a room and let's talk about the things that are going to make us really hard to beat. Right, that is a different mindset. Right, boys, what are the things that is going to make us a side that other sides don't like to play. A side that people put a circle around and say, yeah, we should pick up the 2 points there. But I tell you what, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a real hard fight. And it's the things that create that are just fundamentals. It's high completions, good kicking game, big kick chase game, and just defend with lots of energy. If you can do those things, then you're going to win games. Right? Just by having that focus of we are going to be a side that's difficult to beat. Forget about the wins at the moment. Forget about that. Build your base, your bedrock off that mentality.
What's your take on the cheese, Matt? Have you heard all that today?
I heard he was dropped. I'm going to be totally biased here, and because I've got some great affection for Brandon. And it's been a difficult transition for him, and I hope he can sort of get back and find that discipline and find his best football. But look, I'm not going to say, as I said before, we're really close to him as a family, and so for me, I understand his shortcomings. I understand with the discipline issues, but mate, I don't know. The Chooks at the moment are sounding as though, they're trying to convince him to look elsewhere. Not totally sure on that. Might be completely wrong. But I tell you what, if I was a coach out there and the Chooks said, we're happy for you to go, mate, I'd be looking to pick him up.
Well, Sugar made a good point. You never hear this much noise coming out of the Chooks.
No.
So we're hearing these so-called leaks. I reckon that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to...
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Matty, hit me straight...
I think so. But you know what, Fletch? There's certain clubs out there that need... Firstly, they need a 9. But secondly, they need someone who's got good foot speed right through the middle. And I think that's... If I had Brandon, that's how I'd be playing him. I'd be playing him at the start of the game, 25-minute stint at hooker, bring him off, and then purely all through the second half, just playing him as a middle forward, like they did at Melbourne.
Now, call me crazy, and I want you to hit me straight between the eyes, boys. South Sydney, what are you really gambling with? $25 to make the 8. Now, hear me out. This is their next couple of games. They've got the Broncos at home. They've got Manly at home. They've got the bye. Eels, Dolphins, Tigers. That takes us up to round 20.
Okay.
Matthew?
Yeah.
Should I put 50 cents on them?
Yeah, mate. Why not?
25 to 1.
They got the talent. They got the talent to do it. And, they got Cameron Murray coming back, which is a big one.
Yep.
Campbell
Graham, Matthew, round 18.
Yes. Campbell Graham returns on the weekend. I like what the forwards did. The forwards started rolling forward again playing more simple, just punching the ball forward. I really like Whiten and Cody at 7 and 6. Now, people go, with Whiten there, he's not a runner of the football, etc., etc. Well, that's exactly why you have him there. It's a little bit like, remember years ago when England won the Rugby Union World Cup, and Jason Robinson went across to English rugby from Wigan Warriors, and when he first went there, Clive Woodward played him on the wing, and he just got no ball whatsoever. And Woodward came out and said, you know what, I'm going to get rid of Mike Catt, who was the fullback, and I'm going to put Jason Robinson the fullback. And all the Union people went, well, that's ridiculous because he can't kick. And he said, that's exactly why I'm putting him there.
Wow.
And, it just changed the dynamic of their game. They're becoming a running side instead of a kicking side. And I've said since the start of the year, South will find their best football when Whiten is in the 6 and Cody is in the 7s. Whiten was never going to be able to give them the impact they were after from a 10-metre corridor in the 7s, in the centres. And Fletch, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth a bet.
So do I. I'll tell you what, Cody. I think Cody is going. He wanted to play till he's 39. I think if he plays halfback, he can.
I'll tell you what,
I really do. I think he looks so good because he's so obviously he's experienced. He just knows when to run, knows when to pass, and he knows when to sort of hide in defence.
Fletch, I wouldn't surprise me if Madge picks him game 2. Would not surprise me at all. In the halves.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Would not surprise me. I know Madge was keen on him for game 1.
Yeah.
There was talk, I don't know whether it's true, that the New South Wales medical staff went and had a look at him as far as his calf's concerned and said, no, it's too big a risk. There was talk of that. I would not surprise you one bit.
Well, we need to score. We need points.
Yeah.
We need points.
Yep.
We scored 2 tries now from kicks.
Yep.
Other than that, like we went in for the defensive game. Obviously went out the window when Joseph got sent off, but that's not a bad shout. What about your 7?
This is difficult because at halftime yesterday it would have been settled. Madge would have went, well, Mitch Moses is a 7. But again, it shows you that when your forwards aren't doing the job, doesn't matter who you are, is that, like it's just so difficult for a halfback. Now, he was great in the first half. Second half, Mitchell was anonymous, basically, and he really struggled at vital moments, which, again, I come up with the case. Everyone is convinced that Nicho Hynes has got to go, right? And I understand, right? I do understand he struggled with his kicking. He missed a couple of tackles, but again, he found himself in the centres there. But you can't forget this. He was a halfback in a side that had 12 men.
Yeah.
Right? And he was halfback in a side that never, because of the Swallow he'd been sent off, never was able to have a numerical advantage. Every time that he called the ball to go on the right-hand side, he'd have 4, they'd have 5. Right? So, I'm not as convinced as everybody else that Nicho has got to go. I'd possibly, I'd have Cody in the halves. It might be Cody and Jerome, but I'd still give consideration to Nicho. Sometimes you learn a lot, like from a game like that.
Big calls, eh? Massive calls.
We've just
Latrell's got to be. Has got to be. He's just about first picked. You just got to get it. You just got to pick superstars because superstars can elevate themselves. Yeah. And if you're looking at the team sheet, right, it's a little bit like the old days of Meninga and Miles when Queensland had, and they've got Crichton and Latrell Mitchell. I mean, try to find me a better combination than those two blokes.
And the other thing is too, like if Fletcher's right, where when they move Crichton to the right hand side, it buttoned things up a bit. The points slowed down.
Yeah.
So put him on the hammer. And if you put Crichton, Val's hardly in the form of his life.
No.
So pop him up against him.
Latrell, you mean?
Latrell versus Val.
Yes.
And when you talk about the opposition, but it's more your team. Like if I'm getting dressed and I'm putting my boots on and I look across and I see Latrell and the size of him and the presence of him, surely that must get. And I imagine as a half, you could go, well, there's not much doing here. Zing one out to him and go, righto, Val, do your best here.
Well, this is the thing about it too, Fletch and Joel. Like I remember Hindy telling me that series in 2005 where they got beaten game 1, where Noddy threw the intercept and Matty Bowen picked it off and scored. It started, Hindy said the camp to start game 2 was fairly subdued. And then Baz tweaked his quad and Joey just come back from the ACL and he had a broken jaw, hadn't played much football, had played on the weekend against the Broncos and played well. And they went, who are we going to pick? And went, you know what? Let's just bring Joey in. And he said the moment he went into camp, everything changed. It's just an example of picking great players, even when everything suggests you probably shouldn't, because you know they're going to elevate and play well.
I remember Tony Ray told me once over a beer that he once dressed Jimmy Dimmick up, and he was never going to play, but just for us knowing he was in the sheds.
What do you dress him up as? What do you dress up as? He dressed up as Fieldsy.
Hey, Matty, real quick one. Do you stay with the 4 forwards, or if you don't and you follow the Cobbo tactic that Billy had, does Talakai come into the conversation to play that role?
Possibly, Joel. Haven't really given a lot of thought, but he's got, as you said, he's got that foot speed and everything that we're after. You can play him through the middle if we have to for a stint. Yeah, possibly. Murray, I think Murray comes in. That's another example.
Yep.
What worried Queensland early was McGuinness.
Yeah.
Because of his stature, and because of his good footwork, and because of his speed through the middle. That's what worried them. So you double down and put Murray in there as well. Beautiful.
Well done, Matty. Good to chat.
See you, MJ.
And for
See
those
you, boys.
following the Backstage podcast.
I've got the hair slick back at the moment, boys. It's, but don't worry, it's what it is. It's not a new look. It's just from my body tenure.
You know what? KFC.
Yeah.
I tell you, there's something different about your man today too. He's glowing, and I don't know why.
I'm glowing. Well, my car got swiped.
Oh.
I got it.
What?
Yeah, someone hit my car.
Have you had anything done to your face at all, Brian? Or no. Looks very smooth.
I went surfing today.
Oh, you went surfing. Heard it was rank surfing.
I've got a little bit of something for you, boys.
Yeah.
A shush, okay? Just something to take away. Which NRL superstar is rumoured to be getting Botox? Okay, I'm not going to say who it is.
Current player?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Spotted shush.
Oh, that's
double.
a good spotted
Double.
shush.
Hey, I got one for you. Which NRL executive was seen rollerblading on the promenade at Manly?
Really?
In blue tights.
Richer.
Ah, damn it!
See you, Matty.
See you, boys.